We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. So, fireside chat style, what's really going on out there? What's up with 90K Bitcoin? We got Jamie Dimon bear posting crypto. Gee, does Jamie have another problem we don't know about? He's trying to distract us from, or perhaps even send a warning on. He can't possibly be talking about Bitcoin 10 days in front of the Orange Man's inauguration. So what is he talking about? And then, of course, we have hedge funds trying to tell you that, sovereigns may go bust or go out of business. That's, our favorite hedge fund character, Ray Dalio. So these guys are short bonds and interest rates are going higher and governments are going bust and watch out. Meanwhile, it just seems really funny that everyone is talking about everything except crypto as a currency and a highly determined made in America individual about to take power in 10 days. Matter of fact, I'm starting to think that people just can't stand it. Like, he can't succeed. It can't happen. We got to push back. Well, how's that going? Right? They tried to hit Bitcoin down at 90. They did a wonderful job of running the stops. They got everybody all upset. I saw everyone bear posting. I saw all this altcoins. Ha, 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 ha. They're all down 7%. And it reminds me of what I say in that in order to be a genius, you first have to be a moron. And I'm going to volunteer to be the moron that just looks at all this and goes, this whole thing is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. They're underestimating Bitcoin. They're underestimating crypto. They're underestimating the Orange Man. And if there's a problem out there, if you must have a problem, I'll give you a problem. This could be foreign currencies, European currencies, okay? And possibly financial institutions in the United States, namely regional banks and possibly insurance companies, because of what's going on out there in California. You got hurricane level winds. You got almost no control over the situation. And then Twitter is filled with, stories of bad actors, trying to make it worse. So is this over, or is there going to be repercussions? Because as I remember, since Silicon Valley Bank, the Fed has been working real hard, to keep banks afloat because there's a problem here and a problem there. It's all a part of what I think is that, we just need different alternative currencies. You got to get yourself in hard assets. You got to get yourself in Bitcoin or in gold, and you can pick your reason. Now, the reason everybody wants to think about is, oh my God, inflation, oh my God, debt, on the government side. Yes, that's all a problem. But just a brief note, are we saying that the Fed is going to let Uncle Sam, the banks, and the insurance companies fail? That's what's going to happen, right? Like, the Orange Man is going to come in and everything's going to fall apart. It's going to be great. Our dreams will come true. No. No. Matter of fact, this fire, in my mind, guarantees that no matter what Powell says or what these inflation numbers are, that they're just going to have to deal with 4% as the new baseline inflation. That won't be the first trade. But that all this hysteria about government debt can be with us for a long time. And the focus should either be on the prosperity, the cash flow, and the deflation that comes from AI in terms of how it affects the labor market, and what happens to banks and insurance companies. In other words, how can you have a precipitous rise in interest rates that hedge funds are dreaming about when you could have a problem with regional banks and insurance companies as a result of what's going on in Los Angeles? Now, that's all pretty complicated picture. And if it's too complicated for you, I understand. How about this? We need a different form of money, and we need it made in America. So if you want to underestimate Bitcoin, if you want to underestimate the orange man, if you want to get on the, the hedge fund disaster train, okay, well, you know what? You can ride that train for however many days, right? What, 5 days, 10 days? How many oh my gods are we going to do? Pretty robust oh my god this morning with 2,900 ETH. Wait until you see these DeMark charts. Don't go anywhere. Oh my. Wow. We got all worked up today. About what? About what? You look at the wicks on this chart in 10 days. Will you really remember what happened today? Do you even know what happened today? I don't think I do. We can go over some charts in Legacy and we could talk about why everybody's all wound up, but it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we need a different form of money. Everyone's underestimating what's going to have with crypto. And every time the market goes down, ta-da, what's the first thing in the green? XRP. The first thing in the green are the made in America cryptos. And I realize that everyone looks at me and go, gee, Bill, that's corny. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I am just going to carry on with the corny cringe because made in America crypto wants to go up. It all wants to go up. In some ways, I can't wait for the orange man to step up to the podium because, again, he has, ex-Soros advisors and have Elon atone for his sins by cutting them loose on Doge and having interest rates actually stabilize or fall. Meanwhile, everyone looks at Bitcoin and gold and goes, you know what? Maybe the only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency. Somebody's going to get the economic textbook out. I don't know who's going to say it. Maybe we need Andrew Tate to say it. I don't know. But eventually, the economics textbook is going to prevail. And when it does, no one will remember why they were selling Arrow today below $1. Now, I realize that was like, people were looking at that going, what is this? What is wrong with you people? I mean, that was painful. Like, seriously, that was painful. However, from great pain comes great opportunity. And, just like before the election, Benjamin Cohen, altcoins going to zero 2 days before the election. The orange man is queuing up a crypto-only, dancing disco event, with, Melania wearing an orange Bitcoin dress or whatever, and we're all selling. I mean, we can't sell fast enough. It's like, oh my God. No. Yesterday, I said, Ivanka, it's Melania. Okay? Just remember that at the ball. Okay? Orange tie, orange cummerbund, orange dress. Give it to me. Just put it out there on the tape. Make it leave no doubt. Leave no doubt. Okay, let's welcome who's here. Thomas, Colby, what's going on? Down but not out. David, SGSG, Kane, what's up? B Hunter, Miklo. Oh my God, these Europeans up late at night. Bless you. Alexandra, Huber's Ranch, Rhinock, welcome. Kirkville, Zob, Tyson, David, Incredible Gaming, Kat, Arendam. Wow, we got a crowd tonight. Jonathan, Not for the Weak or Faint of Heart. Dara, Leonidas, Shelly, Brian, Taz, CB, what's up? Desiree, Cat Entertainment wants to get busy on render. Broken's Word. Good evening. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Quick recap of today in crypto. January 13th. $500 million of levered margin babies liquidated. Okay. Wonderful. They offer you leverage and then they stop you out and then your crypto winds up in someone else's hands. It's not that I don't respect professional trading. It's just that, when these exchanges list the meme coin at 75x leverage, I don't know. You might as well write BlackRock a check directly. It would be less painful. MicroStrategy bought more Bitcoin today because they're waving their hands in the air like they don't care. Everyone's trying to imitate MicroStrategy. Jamie Dimon called Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme. Jamie, if you got a problem with your balance sheet, Bitcoin goes as below 90K, causing panic. Boy, that's pretty funny, right? Oh my God, it's below 90K. I remember back in the day where it was, the Bitcoin ETF, sell the fact. What was that, like 50K, 48K? Oh, ridiculous. Donald Trump Jr. becomes an advisor at a crypto company. Yeah, I know, because they're just going to blow it off and not do it, right? BlackRock launches new Bitcoin ETF in Canada. Due to the debt ceiling coming back, the debt can't go up, so Treasury cash is going down. So they're leaving the Treasury empty for the orange man, right? So when, when Joe and Janet took over, they had 1.6 T in the Treasury. And, they're going to leave the orange man with 1 trillion less than that, with North Carolina in a deep freeze and California on fire. God bless America, right? We need a different currency. It's all in plain sight. Now, let's talk about Mr. Dimon, okay? Let me get this straight. So you can get a lot of attention by bear posting Bitcoin. If Bitcoin falls apart, you'll look like a genius. Okay. You don't want to take the same and do the same trade as everybody else. Okay. I mean, we've already had BlackRock tell you that, we only want to go with a 2% allocation. And I don't know, the analysts over at Goldman that haven't been replaced by chatbots yet say the mathematics show Bitcoin really adds no material value to a 60-40 portfolio, when they should get a chatbot to tell them that a 60-40 portfolio is over. Done. It's like 60 meh, 40 garbage. Huh. And then to go for the triple threat, we now have Jamie saying it has no intrinsic value. Okay, so ask yourself this, why? Okay, does Jamie have a problem with his loan book? Is he invincible as he thinks he is? Or the market thinks he is? Got some bad exposure to an insurance company? Maybe a derivatives problem? Huh? Some hedging go wrong? What's wrong out there? Sovereign debt issue? I don't know, but this stinks to high heaven, right? Because it just doesn't make any sense. You got bank guys saying Bitcoin has no value. You got hedge fund guys attacking treasury debt. Everybody's talking about everything but Bitcoin. Like the guys that are short bonds should be like gigalong Bitcoin. Like they should be like, okay, if I want to bet against sovereigns, I should be buying every form of crypto that there is, because crypto has, massive upside, and the Fed can only let government debt go down so much before either the Fed or fiscal cost cutting has to come into play. So again, what's Jamie's problem? We may find out very, very soon. Now, just in case Jamie thinks this has no intrinsic value, you really should talk to a computer scientist. I actually learned this from listening to Charlie Shrem's podcast about the actual computer science, in other words, the math that actually goes into creating a Bitcoin, right? That in order to compete for a Bitcoin on the network, you've got to solve these elaborate puzzles, right? Honestly, it's beyond me. It is, because it's a huge computer science problem, but it doesn't automatically happen. It's not a vending machine. You have to actually work. It's complicated. So instead of a scarce mineral, it's scarce computer code. It's computer code that's hard to generate or replicate. The code is the commodity. That's catchy, right? The code is a commodity, right? So that's the intrinsic value. It's the computer science behind it. But of course, we're not paying attention to that today because I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing here? We're liquidating margin babies? What are we doing? This is ridiculous. Everyone is panicking. Why? Why? Bank of California liquidating its Bitcoin portfolio? I don't think so. Now, they may have to liquidate their stock or their treasuries portfolio. Okay. We'll talk about that later. But what is this about? You know, Jamie Dimon is the new thought leader in Bitcoin, scaring everybody? Stop it. Just stop it. Orange Man has a 24-member crypto advisory council, and Hodgkins has revealed his involvement in the organization to shape crypto policies. Wait a minute. This is the worst kept secret ever. This was obvious, right? He's been there the whole time. Everyone's like, oh, is Cardano going up? People, XRP, Hedera, Algorand, and to maybe a lesser extent Cardano, they don't go down. Like Cardano is very volatile, right? But they're not going down, right? There's no material correction. Everyone's like, oh my God, crypto is crashing. People, XRP went green right away, right? What do you think he's going to do? He wants something built. Donald builds things. He builds casinos, hotels, skyscrapers with gold lettering. Hi, I'm the president. Build everything. 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 I mean, you would think, even though it annoys me a little bit, that when we're talking about a hostile takeover of Canada or Greenland, getting XRP and Cardano moving and getting Web3 up and running seems like small potatoes, yet there's total disbelief in the market, which is fine with me, because when they do believe it, you won't be able to buy it. You won't be able to buy it. In other words, the thing about today that everybody takes for granted is that you can buy it, right? Because they'll just, like BlackRock and Michael Saylor and all these guys, I don't even know if it's BlackRock anymore, but whoever it is, they're just going to take it all. And then when the Orange Man comes in, I don't know if there's going to be the supply to meet the demand on exchanges. Honestly, President-elect to repeal all accounting policies for crypto. Day one. Amazing how this comes out at the lows. It's amazing, don't you think? They smack it, they get everybody out, and then the news starts coming out. Crypto deregulation under Trump, it's happening, but promises versus reality, right? It's like, oh, it's too good to be true. No, it's not. It's been horrible for 6 years. Gensler has been running us out of town forever. And everyone wants to do what? Sell the fact. It's going to be a disappointment. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. This is not the time for disbelief. U.S. court demands SEC explain itself for denying Coinbase request for why they're trying to legislate from the bench, why they want a judge to be Congress, right? In other words, why are you dragging us into court? Because we violated laws that haven't been passed. This has been going on for 6 years. But it's sell the fact, right? It's over. I mean, it's not even going to happen. First it was sell the fact. That was the election. Now we're acting like it's not going to happen at all. And it so is. It's on the news. Like people are like, yeah, what do you do? I read the news. It's like, no, I don't read the news. I tell you what the news means. ARK Investment says Bitcoin is better than gold. Well, I'm glad somebody stepped up and said something, for God's sakes. She's going to sit there and let it plummet and let everybody FUD the market. This is crazy. Donald Trump's inauguration features tech leaders and crypto ball. Can I ask you something? What happens if everybody who runs Web 2 is at the crypto ball? What's the media going to ask him on the way in or the way out? Have you bought Bitcoin yet? Are you considering buying Bitcoin? Do you have a Web3 strategy? Do you have a gaming announcement? Like everyone who goes to the crypto ball has either bought Bitcoin or will buy Bitcoin. And of course, no one has thought what happens if Michael Saylor's there, because the Orange Man, Michael Saylor, and Milani, all in orange, It's going to be a great picture. Garlinghouse, XRP, the guy from Cardano, total disbelief. And who knows? It actually may not go up on the inauguration. Like, I expect continued denial. Right? Until it becomes undeniable. Then you won't be able to buy it. I like these two headlines. Web3 creator raises $4 million for AI-based digital influencers. So digital people are coming and, they can do live streams and market Bud Light all night, all day, all night, right? In other words, corporations can get involved and start buying influencers or buying influence by having these influencers market their product. This is coming. We're going beyond cartoons, and we're going to have Web3, yet I guess no one's going to trade on the base network, and ETH is going to zero. I mean, if this is not a give-up trade, I don't even know what to say. Now, I realize this is not the be-all, end-all, but this to me feels like people giving up on the base network, and I have no idea why anyone's doing that, because you could have an ICO boom on Base and Solana. And it could be all AI agents, influencers. We don't even know yet. But it's got ICO boom written all over it. I mean, right now it's what? It's like, fart and virtuals and some $15 million agents. And, okay. Yeah, we did a little speculating and we got smoked a little and people are acting like that's it. Not to mention what happens when Wall Street gets involved, right? Like, Jamie is whining. Like, is he going to get left out of DeFi? Or could he be pivoting to DeFi? Because are people going to say, well, I don't like Bitcoin, but I would rather do this? I don't know. But somebody's going to pivot to DeFi. And when that happens, forget about it. Because it's not just going to be it's not going to be just the tech bros. It's got to be the finance bros too. BlackRock says crypto has outpaced growth for mobile phones and the internet. Huh. That's an interesting fact. It's kind of obvious, but why is BlackRock telling you that? BlackRock's telling you that because they're going to make a whole bunch of announcements, right? It just makes sense, right? You either make it at the crypto ball or, you make it 3 days or 4 days before, so everybody can say, hey, what do you think of BlackRock's move at the event? Or you wait until 5 days after and, you get in front of the crypto czar and you make an announcement the day before he steps up to the podium. Either way, what are they doing? Right? Jamie doesn't like it because he's got a problem with his loan book, which is exactly why BlackRock did the Bitcoin ETF and things like that to begin with. Why do you think people are interested? You're going to find out eventually. You're going to find out what the problem is. Hedge funds think it's government debt. I think it's currencies. Okay, well, we'll find out. And it doesn't even matter who's right. It doesn't. Because at the end of the day, it's going to wind up being Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and Web3. And everyone thinks we're nuts and everyone thinks we're crazy. And it's like, Daddy, why were you selling 3 days, a week before the orange man came into power? It's like, I don't know, it's like getting bearish on America right before the U.S. Olympic hockey team beat the Russians in 1980. Crazy. Now, understandably, back to the U.S. Olympic hockey team, there was an exhibition game in Madison Square Garden before the Olympics, which I believe the team lost like 9 or 10-1. So it's understandable if you were bearish on the U.S. Olympic hockey team, but if you had been bearish on America at that point, you would have made a serious mistake, because Ronald Reagan plus that hockey victory turned out to be a very, very big and sudden turning point. And there was a lot of negative stuff going on at the time. Okay? I don't see this as any different, right? I mean, how much worse can it get? You've got people in North Carolina literally freezing, starving, no rubble cleared out months after a hurricane. I had no idea until this guy in a fur hat started circulating on TikTok and Twitter. And of course, the thing in Los Angeles. Can you imagine getting negative and turning away from the thing that helps humanity right before it turns? I mean, you'll never forgive yourself. I mean, I am willing to be the biggest idiot on YouTube rather than get bearish right before a perceived, I don't know, dare I say, miracle, right? Everybody goes, oh, yeah, Bitcoin, that's what we're supposed to do. Oh, yeah, Solana is a fast form of money. Oh, look, XRP's been here for 6 years. I mean, what happens when everybody goes, oh, that's what I should be doing. Oh, how high do you think it's got to be for that to happen? Right? Like BlackRock doesn't even like it that much. Goldman doesn't like it. Jamie doesn't like it. Of course they don't like it. They don't like it at 90. They're really going to hate it at 150, right? And it may go there because of some problem that they have that they're not telling us about. BlackRock launches in Canada. Why not? MoonPay can't acquire people fast enough, right? Top analyst says XRP at 275 is now similar to the 75-cent resistance. And you know what? I love that thinking. Everyone's like, well, it definitely can't go above 75 cents. Well, it definitely can't go above 275. XRP definitely can't take out $3. Is that $3 in 2018, for goodness sake? Are we saying that can't happen again? What are you talking about? Like, if you said in 2018, 6 years from now, the guy that runs Ripple will be at the presidential ball at the inauguration, and crypto will be not only a mainstream idea, but is at the top of the list for the administration to grow their way out of a catastrophic debt situation. And back in 2018, you would say, under those circumstances, where would XRP be trading? Or just imagine yourself, because I was actually there, like in BitBoy Studio back in 2020 and 2021, when Ben was trying to lay out the case for this. If he told you this story about crypto and Garlinghouse at the inauguration, what would the upside target be? Yet, we're not interested. We're literally not interested because it's too good to be true, or because we don't believe it. People think it's manipulation. I think it's just sour psychology. I think people have gotten so hosed, so stopped out, so disappointed because they wanted it to be like 2021. They wanted to walk in. They wanted to get long. They wanted the central banks to print 20 trillion. They wanted to have everything 50x for about 6 months. They all wanted to sell at the same time and walk away retired. That's not how this is going to work. And the disappointment over that is making people bearish. And that is a huge mistake. This is what happened with stocks a long time ago. Then stocks eventually went up only, and then it became obvious that stocks were up only, that you bought every single dip in NVIDIA, right? I mean, it just became obvious after a period of years. But they doubted it in the beginning, just like they are now. Okay. The guys back in 2010 and 2011, I saw it. I saw it firsthand. I saw these hedge funds buy every single dip indiscriminately. Market looked like it was going to zero. They bought it. They didn't even look at the charts. They just waited for me to say the charts just broke. They would wait 2 days and then come back in and buy everything. They were riding a tidal wave of printed Fed money, but that's fine. That may not be the case here. It may be the case that everybody just goes, we need a different currency. Okay. So with that said, 6 ways to Sunday. Let's go to PowerPoint. Okay, so Hope Bank Corp in California. So this is a California regional bank. Not exactly trading well. It was as high as 14 after the election. It's now trading at 11. There are Lux Algo buy signals here. We'll see, right? Hopefully, there is no bank problem. If there is a bank problem, you're going to know soon. You're going to know soon, right? Because if the thing keeps burning and no one's insured, that creates an interesting situation. And I don't think I would have even thought about it if it wasn't for Jamie, right? Like, when someone tells you, don't listen to what that person is saying, what does it make you want to do? Listen to what that person is saying. So why is it that Jamie isn't upset about Bitcoin? This is Allstate insurers. Okay. So is the damage done? We were up at 208. Now we're at the bottom of like the cone that Lux Algo drew. Resistance at 185. We'll see. They've wiped out 6 months worth of gains. Bank of California. Interesting, right? Lux Algo equilibrium around 15. We'll see what happens. Like maybe they just filled the gap. Maybe it's just a normal correction. Or maybe somebody is going to wind up getting caught. Regional banks, KRE. So this is an index of all regional banks. Remember Silicon Valley Bank. You may have remembered these things. These banks didn't manage the tightening cycle very well. Okay, maybe this is over. Maybe it's done. Maybe the fire thing is going to, the news will just kind of, die down or not, right? In other words, if they can't manage this problem, that brings in the Fed. I mean, what, we're going to have a new administration and have banks failing? I don't think so. Jamie is upset for a reason. And in any case, we need a different currency, right? Like whatever's going on out there, like when people, and I don't want to get crazy, right? Because I know the hedge funds are trying to do this with the government securities markets, but I'm just trying to point out something very simple, which is that the definition of a black swan is something that you could never even imagine. And even when it starts happening, you don't understand it. This is what happened in 2008. We saw it happening, but we couldn't get our head wrapped around it. So all I'm saying with this fire is that, there are all kinds of scenarios. Like, insurance companies may have to sell stocks and bonds. That's not good for crypto, right? If bank stocks drag down equities, I don't know. That might also be a problem. Rich people may have to market sell equities. Okay, so there are scenarios. But all I'm trying to say is, why did Jamie Dimon bear post Bitcoin today? Why? I don't think I would have even looked at it or cared until he did that. So it leads me to believe that if there's actually a problem, it may not be with inflation or government debt, like all these hedge funds are trying to tell you. It may be because like an exogenous event, like something has happened with this fire that sets off a chain of events that we couldn't have possibly anticipated. And I can't believe, unless something happens to the stock market, that it's not constructive crypto in the end. Volatility, yes. But why is Jamie crying? Okay, enough. Gold. Well, persistent inflation. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way with the coffers empty at the Treasury and California burning that, the Fed is going to somehow not print. So that seems like a recipe for massively higher gold. I see it as an eventuality. Okay, so here we have hedge funds, Ray Dalio. The guy's pretty smart. A lot of times when he comes out with these articles, it's like 3 days before the event actually goes down. So we're doing this U.S. government debt problem. The U.S. is going broke. Okay. That's not exactly a hot take, Ray, right? It's like, oh, wow. We owe $37 trillion. Let's write a giant book about government debt. This guy was very late to the game on Bitcoin. So hedge funds want a debacle in treasuries that send the orange man scurrying before he even gets in office. Like they just love a good blow up. And, I have that streak in me. I understand what they're doing. I just don't think that that's how it's going to play out, right? The problem is that you could have indiscriminately lower fiat currencies at the hands of something either like Bitcoin or something not like Bitcoin, like XRP or Solana, that doesn't have an ETF, right? In other words, I keep trying to paint Swiss franc, sterling, yen, dollar, Swiss franc, sterling, yen, dollar, euro as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and maybe a privacy coin. So major currencies. How countries go broke. Okay. The only way out of a debt problem is to devalue the currency. We got everything here but that. Now let's talk about volatility and fear in interest rates and the bond market. MOVE, that's the symbol on TradingView, is the same as VIX. VIX tracks fear in equities. MOVE tracks fear in bonds. Okay. So MOVE is rising. MOVE will probably get to Lux Algo equilibrium at 112 off the CPI number, which, again, probably won't be good. And hedge funds, as you just saw, are determined to be bearish. Bonds, higher rates. Okay. So let them have their fun and then the number will come out. And then the reality about AI and hiring will eventually sink in after the algos are done doing whatever we have to watch the algos do. Meanwhile, a form of fear, VVIX, which is kind of a complicated but more readable version of stock market fear, is that resistance. In other words, people got a little bit hysterical today. A little bit, right? It got the equilibrium around 122. Did they have a little bit more fear in them? Maybe. Or maybe they just all bear posted it and stopped everybody out right before the crypto ball announcements all came out. How convenient. Seems like people got very afraid today about what? I don't know. But they gave you they gave you all this fear and it was like, thank you very much. Goldman Sachs Commodities Index, very energy centric. Commodities rallying, energy. Hard assets, right? Remember Bitcoin, the code is the commodity. If commodities are rising, so can crypto. Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart got to the discount zone, right? So this is pretty range bound, but still, they heaved it to the bottom end of the Lux Algo range. And the DeMark work on Bitcoin has been elegant, right? I saw the 13 top. I knew Michael Saylor was buying up here. I knew market makers were going to pull it back. I just didn't think they were going to pull it back to 90. But they did. And guess what? 90 was the 13 bottom, right? They dropped it, and then they dropped it again. They took out the support at 93. They made sure all of your stops were triggered, and then they took it the other way. Look at what they did in Solana. Well, they did it to you twice. So the top was here, and they rammed it higher once, twice, then dropped it, right? Made you think it was okay with the 13 bottom, tried to rally it, and then dropped it through the blow-off bottom point. So they got all the stops here seemingly at 180 and at 175. They got everybody. They got the stops here and they got the stops here. So anybody who had a stop anywhere near the recent Solana lows, done, stopped out. And then, of course, they take it the other way. So not only did you have a 13 bottom, but you had a 13 bottom with a blow-off bottom, just like you had a 13 top with a blow-off top. So what has all this been? Like what's happened between Christmas and now? You know what's happened? Everyone's lost money. Everyone. Everyone thought it was going up here. That was me. Everybody stopped out down here. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. Okay. It's like you can't miss a bottom. And if this was a bottom, I'm not missing it. And even if there's more volatility off CPI, I don't care. CPI may come out and crypto's like, yeah, we traded this 3 days ago. Ethereum. Well, gee, only $3,000 left till zero. So 13 top, straight down. Vitalik sells up here. 13 bottom. It looks okay. Right, wrong. Just run every single stop. The blow off bottom level in DeMark was like, I don't know, 30.75. Let's take it below 3,000 just to make sure everyone understands before we turn around and take it back up. I mean, it got to the discount zone. You have, heavy give up selling. It's Vitalik. And then you got a couple of nice Lux Algo bottom signals on the 4-hour chart of ETH. What's the problem? I don't know. The problem is that we've made up a bearish narrative. And every day that goes by, we're talking ourselves into it. We're talking ourselves into it. I have not looked at this, but I'm going to do it now because I know people are going to ask. So, virtuals. Wow, look at this. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was possible. They actually ran this thing down to the 62% retracement. I saw this thing print 5 billion and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And then I was like, yeah, if you got it at $2, that would be great. And I was like, it's never going to go down there. Guys who waited, right? A lot of times waiting is how you make real money. I mean, are we going to sell virtuals at the 62% retracement of this whole up move? That seems unconscionable to me. But that's what people did. And they were waiting for them down there. I didn't even see what they did to Ski. This has been a bear. This has been tough. Wow. See, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a square and they're doing something else now. Or they're just making sure you're out. I don't know. They're making it so difficult down here to hold long positions because they keep making these like stop fishing exercises. So it's got to get back in here. But again, I don't understand why we're all selling, right? Why are we selling? I mean, there's a U.S. congressman that got long this, right? He's not going to buy more. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not trying to talk you into this. I'm just saying it's amazing how, 1 minute this stuff is gold and the next minute, I mean, literally I can look at the chart and you can feel people giving up like this. Like, do you see how there was like some green, right? Like this, people give up, it goes up. It's the same setup, right? It's just down only, right? And this was down, not only down only, but this was down only through all of these lows. Like they went after everybody. I know I keep saying the same thing, but like I said, the point where everyone gives up is usually the point like right when it all turns. Okay. Let's pull up this like Shakespearean tragedy or comedy, depending on how you look at it. I can only imagine what this 4-hour arrow chart looks like. Oh my God, look at this thing. So there was your 13 bottom on the 4-hour chart. The level in question was $1. That was where the blow off bottom was supposed to stop, but we had to take it down to 87 cents to make sure everybody, it's got a little check there. It's like, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's like, but it's perfect. If you look at the daily chart, right? It's a 13 bottom. It's just massive hammer bottom and then followed by the 9. It's like, oh, how nice. If after the election, with arrow at 220, if I would have said to you, don't touch this thing, don't go anywhere near it, it's going to 80 cents because everybody's going to give up on everything that's currently happening. Now, you might have thought that was a good idea, but I don't know that you would have believed it. Like, would you believe that arrow was actually lower than where it was before the election? We're not trading on base. We're not doing this anymore. This is like got to be the biggest like force out trade. Like I don't even have a name for what happened to arrow. I don't. Right? Like what just happened? What are they doing? It's like they unwound all of it. I mean, it was like the 76% retracement. I can't even describe that. I mean, 62% is $1.17. But the fact that they washed out like 3/4 of this move, I'm left speechless. Yo, Bass, welcome. You're welcome. Cat Entertainment doing render. Let's take a look at render. And I got to go after this. Still holding on a Lux Algo, like sort of channel near equilibrium. Lovely, lovely stop fishing exercise in render. It's like they tried to take it out and they couldn't. They tried to make it go down, and that was their big effort. Meanwhile, whatever really is going on out there, either with regulatory, administration, banking, and the possibility of something happening that makes a new form of money come to the forefront of people's attention. Maybe not tomorrow, but you're going to find out after the inauguration what the financial impact of this fire is going to be. You're going to know. Maybe there is no impact. Maybe everything is fine. In which case, someone has to look at what's going on with the euro or sterling and just say, wait a minute, why are we all bearish? Seriously, tell me down in the comments, why are we all bearish? Okay. And then ask yourself if that's still going to be true in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? I mean, all of the down trades from last year, can you remember what they were about? I think we were going to have a global conflict like 6 or 7 different times. It didn't happen. Okay. That's going to be it for tonight. Stay tuned here. We will see you tomorrow.